Every so often I get asked about sort of the demo review process and reviewing process in general, or I just get asked by people to kind of talk about my thought process and sort of analyze what's going on as it's happening. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. I decided to load up a demo of an old match I played. This was a playoffs match in Advanced a little over a year ago, which is crazy to think that's the last time I actually competed during a season. But yeah, so we're going to go over things from a kind of demo review perspective, and the main objective is going to be, well, your main objective in a demo review is to be pretty self-critical, right? To a reasonable extent. You don't want to nitpick necessarily, but if there's obvious mistakes that you're making, that's worth pointing out, as well as looking for things you can do better, things you may have missed, all in the pursuit of becoming a better player, of course. Now, demo reviews are going to be inherently better when you are being reviewed by a better player, because they're going to have a better perspective on how to play your class or your role. That being said, you don't really need to get too ambitious with it. Honestly, getting reviewed by someone 1-2 divs above is plenty. Some people get really, really ambitious and they'll be like an amateur player or a newcomer player trying to get reviewed by invite players, when that invite player will offer the same advice 99% of the time as someone in intermediate or main, for example. Anyway, for the sake of content and some of the people who aren't super familiar with competitive play, this will be somewhat self-critical, of course, but also kind of explanatory, just sort of going over my decisions and why I'm making them. So anyway, let us begin with the mid-fight. And I show up earlier than the other demo, and honestly, good damage so far. A 48 on the other demo, which I think is like the max a sticky can do from that range. And then hit the med and then hit the demo again. You see here, I'm trying to control height. I see the soldiers bomb in, right? Across top left and top right. Because I'm the demo, I'm not going to turn for those guys. Because I know that my scouts, maybe even my pocket soldier, if my pocket soldier decides to help with those guys, can deal with those bombers. As long as my med doesn't just get too rocketed and has like some decent movement, they're going to be fine. They're going to kill those soldiers. So long as this demo does not cross the point and, no scouts are able to get across and actually make it a full team commit. So my immediate reaction is to start shooting the point, focus on that, and we do kill a soldier. Okay, no one on my team dies, so now I'm going to be getting a little aggressive, no ammo. This is a decent enough interval to reload, because at this point with the pick, you can kind of just like chill, or at least, you're going to win the mid, basically, so you don't have to freak out or do anything too drastic. So we're immediately pressuring to the next point here. This is even Ubers, remember, because the other team's medic lived, our medic lived. They both spawned at the same time because it's the start of the round. So all things being equal, we're likely even Ubers, both teams either having or just about to get. Now, in a situation like this, we're trying to pressure fast for a couple of reasons. For starters, the soldier was dead on mid, meaning if we can pressure really quickly, then we might be able to take space. And remember, TF2 is a game about space, being able to control space. The fact that we are here in yard rather than, further back, not even through the door yet, means that we're applying a lot of pressure. I am able to hit basically everything on point. So if anyone's standing on point, then I can hit them. And if that player is, for example, a medic, then my soldier who's sacking can be getting that force or that drop or the medic kill if they don't have Uber. Right. Now, this is a situation in which you want to be sacking, because again, even Ubers, generally speaking, whether you want to sack or not is going to depend a little bit on how good the pressure is, because what sacking does is, yes, it's like a flash of aggression that has a better chance of getting a force than just kind of semi-aggressively, but also semi-passively, like spamming from, relative safety in that pressure. So you have a higher chance of getting that force. However, the second the sack goes off and that player dies, then all your efforts are then cut off, basically. So if you're in a position where you're able to apply a lot of pressure and able to get maybe a kill, maybe 2 kills, situations like that, it's really good not to send your sack unless you're absolutely certain that they're going to get the force, because again, if they don't get the force and end up dying, then all that effort was effectively wasted. So my soldier dies. So now it is counter sack, meaning the other team now has a temporary advantage of a kill, so it's up to them to pressure. Now, of course, I am going to be holding Saw here. Not the most inspired traps, to be honest, but whatever. My ammo's not great either. Yeah, I will route to go get some. Looks like they're not doing anything in the counter sack, which is whatever. Okay, and I'm topped off on ammo, so now we've reset, basically. Time for us to sack again, because our soldier has rolled out. So here I am, just trying to clear for some traps, even though I honestly saw that their demo probably wasn't trapping that deep into Saw. I would have seen it. Okay, and we're trying to take space Saw. So my objective here as a demo is basically to spam the guys that are holding the door. So that soldier, for example, our guy trades for the sack, so we can keep pressuring because that number advantage hasn't gone poorly. We actually back out, which is interesting. Are we going to rotate doors here? No, we're just going to chill. A little bit passive for my liking, but so be it. Okay, our soldier has spawned. He's going to be rolling out. Time to pressure again. And this is kind of how stalemates look like. You have the sack and the counter sack. When you're the team in control, as in the team with mid, the attacking team, you kind of want to get the ball rolling, because right now you can see the round timer, 2.5 minutes. If that hits 0 at any point, then we reset to mid, and we're going to have to fight for the point that we already own, which we don't want. Okay, it's decent pressure, gets a kill on the door. I'm trying to spam this guy off of height. I don't hit him. We actually lose an extra 2 players. Both our scouts die. Looks like I'm going for a little sticky sink there, just in case that player was instantly peeking. And you can see a little bit of the, what's the word? Double-edged sword of sticky sinks, where if that demo were instantly walking through Saw, or the combo were instantly walking through Saw, then I can maybe get a lot of value there and neutralize the situation to some extent. That being said, I kind of don't like that decision at all, because even if I get the force or get a ton of damage on the demo, we're still down 3. So it's not going to work out positively for us anyway. I should just leave, I think, and instead I stayed and got caught, which is not good. So neither medic has used, as far as I'm aware, so it still will be even Ubers. And now that spawners are on the way, oh, that is interesting. I almost died to that guy. That would have been embarrassing. I imagine my team went for some type of exchange play on second, and it doesn't seem like it worked out. An exchange makes sense there. Yeah, my med doesn't have Uber, so we almost certainly exchanged. And the fact that I'm playing this close to the door means that, yes, it was an exchange and not just us trying to get the force and not getting it. Because if it were disad here, then I would be much more passive. An exchange makes sense there because you are basically trying to buy time for your spawners, right? The only disadvantage we had going into that fight was the fact that we were down 3 players, right? Some of our players got spawners. I, the demo, which is a pretty important class for that kind of fight, did not get a spawn. So if you can take an Uber exchange and just buy time for me to roll out, then yeah, who knows what kind of fight you can take. It's going to be much, much better than without the exchange. Okay, we are stalemating on last here. So a little double soldier sack is interesting. Okay. I honestly maybe should have just run at that demo, looking back at it now, because he's leaving completely alone in a pretty vulnerable place. And yeah, I just have to knock it. I know the door's not trapped, right? It kind of feels like my... okay, that's brutal. Man. I feel like I should just hit that pipe, I guess, but that's kind of just a DM thing. Sometimes I rush those pipes and just kind of shoot without actually thinking about aiming. Whatever. What was I saying? Yeah, I didn't want to walk through that door because I have a habit of just not Wing through doorways because that's a way to die to traps. And I'm generally good about not just dying to traps because of that. However, I know the door's not trapped there. I was watching it the whole time, and their demo was pretty clearly out of ammo, I would say, based on the fact that he was just spamming pipes. we have a pause. Okay, so this is Disad Last. And this is kind of what a Disad Last hold looks like. We have a sniper. To be honest, the sniper is peeking this angle through lower. So the reason that they're doing that is because a common play for the other team to enter lobby is to enter through lower lobby and cross up left and then use through shutter. And in that cross, you have to peek this sniper sightline. So as long as we have enough of a spot lobby that we know they're not coming through catwalk and wrapping left, then this sniper shouldn't be caught. A fast lower bomb might potentially catch the sniper. It is an aggressive position, but it's honestly worth it for this peek. I'm floating. That's weird. Okay. Right. But of course we have a sniper and an engineer. Sniper is basically just keeping the other team honest, making it so that they have to use through. Otherwise, they risk dropping a player, or they risk dropping Uber, which would be catastrophic. And we're playing in a pretty safe position. So we see the bomb in, and we immediately go over to Kite. Our gun goes down. I missed my first sticky, but I am focused on the point. I think if I didn't miss that sticky, then we hold for a little longer. That was honestly my bad. Okay. So we're down 1-0. New mid. I want to see if I've been doing the extra sticky on the rollout, because I am a fan of that on the Snake Water. No, I don't. You can use an extra sticky here in Saw and show up faster. Weaker, but consistently faster. Okay, I hit their med with a nice sticky there. Just shooting height. I see a guy peek top right. I see a guy go kitchen, so I'm surely calling that for my team. And again, I'm just focusing on the demo, making sure he cannot cross cleanly. The scout behind is dealt with in time. The demo ends up dying, so this is looking like a fine mid for us. That scout was maybe in range of my sticky. I could have done that sooner. But that's another one of those kind of nitpick things. If you just practice DM, stuff like that kind of comes naturally. Am I going to bomb here? I would have bombed here nowadays, I think. That looks like a good I get that they're like probably already out because I'm pretty slow to get through lower. Honestly, if I bombed a lower for the pack and then bomb... Ooh, are we taking this Uber? Okay, let's catch up here. This is going to be a bit of a long video because it's a 36-minute demo. I'm going to be doing some pauses. Okay, so a chase like that is a really good opportunity to turn what would be even Ubers on the other team's last into Uber advantage into last, which is way more likely to get around. The reason being, the other team has only like 2 players alive. They're medic and I think it was a scout. So if we can successfully chase and get a kill on that medic, or even a kill on the scout usually converts into a kill on the med afterwards, then of course our med is going to have ad. There are some situations in which a chase doesn't make sense. If the numbers aren't so much in your favor, but there we had, I think, everyone alive, and yeah, just free range to absolutely chase. Okay, the reason that I think we're playing this is because we are going very, very quickly into lobby, which makes me wonder if we're trying to build check, which is a strategy in which, of course, Ubers should be even here, because both meds spawn at the same time. It was a mid-fight. But in reality, meds don't always build at the same rate. So either my medic spotted their beam with like the solemn vow and could see that they were at a noticeably lower Uber percent, something like 20% lower, or we knew that on the retreat, the other team's medic didn't have someone to heal for some time, which would mean that they weren't building during that time, while we were, presumably. So that would be Uber advantage in that sense. Okay. Oh, our guy dies to the door. Okay, it looks like we're not build checking. We were just playing a fast sack, which, again, keeping up the pace on those sacks is quite nice. Because if you can, for example, a double sack is a pretty standard thing to go for. But a mistake I see a lot of teams make is that they spend so long cooking for a sack that should just get ripped immediately because the hold isn't actually good. Pressure is really important against a strong hold, because that's the way to kind of disassemble things, or like apply pressure to their team in a way that maybe there's an opening for your sacker, right? Now, that being said, if the other team, for example, doesn't have a sentry gun on last, or maybe doesn't have traps up on the door, things like that, then by all means, just sending a double sack pretty quickly is honestly fine. Like, a double sack into a last without a sentry gun is like a fair enough plan to just do no pressure. Obviously, pressure is going to make it even better, but you don't want to slow down that play for the sake of pressure, because that gives the other team time to set up in many circumstances. So I do like the pace on that. Okay, I don't like how we're not really doing anything. I don't remember if on this team I like primarily watched top left when our team pressured right or not. Okay, you can see here the door's not really being held. I honestly use quite a few stickies just to carpet that, which I don't know if I agree with. I could have only put like a couple there and then maybe trap the fence so that the soldier can't bomb it. Okay, now I'm trapping the fence. Man, I feel like I could have been much more effective on this pressure. The gun does go down. We lose 2. We get the demo. Gun's down again. Okay, we lose 4. So I'm going to be caught. And my med's probably going to be caught and forced to use. So pressure definitely went awry there. Oh, that's a nice leave. Out window. Gets forced anyway. Too bad. At least there's a player there to get that kill, I guess. I get a forward spawn as well, so... Are we going to do anything off that kill? Seems not. So I'm just setting up disad traps, because I'm expecting the other team to push forward, so I just want to trap up places that I think they might push. The reason that my traps are pretty passive... I could have killed that soldier. The reason that my traps are pretty passive and not on the doors themselves is because... Okay, let's pause here. Is because I just don't have time to walk up to these doors and trap them. Otherwise, I'd be so close by the time they're pushing that I would just die. So in those situations where it's disad as a demo, it's really about finding that line of how good of traps you can get up in the allotted time that you have before the other team pushes. There's going to be some times where the other team's just slower or faster than you anticipate, and there's going to be times where you just like don't read the situation correctly, but with time you're going to get better with it. So the reason that the other team just fully left here, despite having full Uber advantage, is the fact that, if you see at the bottom of the screen here, we have ×3 on the point here, and we're doing a backcap play. So ×3 is our roamer and flank scout. They flank shoved, and it seems like the other team's flank didn't get cleared because no one died. Usually with that kind of play, the flank take a fight against each other, and someone is likely to die. But even if no one died, the reason that I think that the flank didn't get cleared here is because if the other team knew that the flank was getting shoved, as in their flank saw the fight happening, saw the shove happening, but didn't die, backed up, communicated to their team what was happening, I would have expected a faster response from the combo. But instead the combo stayed in quite a while until the back half was like pretty lethal. Okay, unfortunately our flank dies. If they continued living, then this would have been even better. But yeah, we basically just bought time. Which is fine. I mean, buying time is fine. Our guys are looking to not get denied, which is great. And yeah, now we are at 90% as the other team caps. And that flank shove actually worked fantastically, because even though it didn't get the back cap, even though all it did was bring the other team back, because we bought so much time, our Uber evened out on second rather than last, right? We basically earned ourselves like a free 40% with that play. If our flank got denied, as in their forward spawn got denied because the other team capped first, then things would have gotten a little sketchier because the other team has a number advantage to fight with, but you can play an exchange or something like that. Okay, good lord. That was a little scary for a second there. But they double sack. Okay, they lose 3. We lost 1 guy, but numbers still in our favor to pressure outwards. I'm just checking for traps. My scout clears traps. Okay, and they are not on the door, so we are absolutely going to take that space. It is free. And this is a situation which the other team might want to exchange, and oh, look at that. They are looking for that Uber, and we bait it quite well. We are out of there. No need to use. Oh, and I like this play. Unfortunately, that rocket just juggles my Uber. I would have caught people otherwise. Scout's caught regardless. The reason I really like that play is because we didn't lose anyone. Like, you can just expect to take that Uber and get kills, basically. And that's exactly what we do. Now, unfortunately, it didn't really materialize in any more than just a scout getting killed. So it's not really that great. It just turns into second pressure. But nonetheless, gonna be fine. So countersack now, our scout's down. I don't have a deep spot saw. I miss my det. That's unfortunate. I miss my det again. Jesus. You know, I thought my DM was pretty good this season, but maybe it just was not. Alright. So we end up losing the point because they get through pretty cleanly off of their kill, and things just don't really go our way there. We don't have an Uber to exchange yet, I don't think. If we did have Uber, then we probably should have exchanged, but I'm just going to assume we didn't. Okay, I'm setting a trap for an anti-sack for a soldier bombing there, which is a weird trap to set if I'm just watching the door, to be honest. That's more something I would set on disad, I think, or should set on disad. Okay, just kind of waiting around. I'm really... Okay, I mean, we know the combo saw, so it makes sense that I'm just kind of chilling towards saw. Okay, we hit a pipe. And you can see I'm trying to focus on the door itself. These guys behind, my team can deal with, but I don't want the demo to be peeking. So I'm going to deny the demo from peeking. End up finding a soldier kill with those stickies that were intended for the demo. And now we have 2 soldiers, which means that the demo is the only spam, which means that this door is the only one actually being held. Every other door is free. My flank can get in. I don't like that my soldier died there. We get the force anyway. Okay, 2 soldiers for the force. Pretty... Okay, we lose 3, so we're going to have to keep backing up. I honestly kind of like the idea of jumping away just so I'm out faster. I did see that scout. Yeah, the scout's going to be lower. I'm pretty sure I called that to my team. Because that scout has just shown a propensity of just wanting to run in. So when I spot the scout Africa running lower lobby, I'm thinking that scout's probably going for a wrap. Okay, this is a bit of an uncomfortable situation because we have ad out of last. We're just going to have to pop through, basically. Snakewater last is difficult to push out of. But do we get any value? It's so hard to catch people on this point without just straight up feeding. So you can see I immediately transition into... Oh, we're getting backcapped as well. This is not great. I immediately transition into disad traps because I just know it's not going well. The backcap gets dealt with, so we get 3 kills, lose 2 guys, but it is uber disadvantage because we used never caught their med. So this is gonna be kind of bad. We're peeking 2. I mean, they have no scouts, so like bombs are pretty good. No one to deny those. Shoot the soldier off height. If we can get the... Ooh, looks like they want to take the Uber. It's just like a body language sort of thing. They do, in fact, hit a bad surf and end up dying. That's a bad death. And that can easily snowball into a round here, I think. We shouldn't be close to getting, no. Just a matter of if our heavy can hold. The answer is no. And we're going to be down 2-0. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure there makes sense. Honestly, their demo bombing in without actually getting used on could just be a pick and kind of neutralize things to some extent. Also, that's the player who caught me, so if they died, I get out. But that would require hitting more shots or just like, I don't know. I think my scout could have been more aggressive, maybe. I'm not too sure, but I certainly fed and probably lost the round for it. Okay, you can see me spamming height. I try to shoot behind that demo, because sometimes demos will like push a lane like that. And, okay, you can see I'm getting landed on literally by a soldier, and I'm still just ignoring him. Because, again, my team can deal with that. My team did deal with it. And I ended up actually getting a kill on height, because, yeah, I had a funny little vantage point from surfing that bomb. So being able to actually, like, dodge players that are on you without necessarily having to look at them or spend much time thinking about them is a really valuable asset to have as a demo. Because, yeah, it lets you stay focused on what you're actually supposed to be doing. That being said, something like that really only makes sense when you can trust your teammates to do what they're supposed to do and secure that kill. Okay, interesting peek from them, actually. Because usually the way, like, the stalemate goes, like, math-wise, is, you know, you double sack and then the other team counter-sacks. But if we double sack and get a kill, you can kind of consider that as the other team's counter-sack, right? Where, I mean, I wouldn't want to send a soldier sack there. I guess you can pressure without sending a sack and maybe, you know, make something good happen. But honestly, just taking lobby there can be a little scary if a team decides to get really aggressive. Okay, we decide to come up a stalemate breaking class here with Sniper. Offensive Sniper does break stalemates. Honestly, defensive Sniper kind of creates them. Our Sniper dies, which sucks, so that's kind of that cooking out the window. Still even numbers. If we wanted to sack a soldier here, I think it would be fine. We're playing this very cautiously, though. Right. So you can see I'm kind of just carpeting this angle. I just don't want them to be able to peek that. If they want to peek and, like, spam into bats, for example, like, whatever, they're not accomplishing anything. It's only when they actually get to round that corner that they achieve something. So I'm just making sure that doesn't happen. And we come up Sniper again. I don't like playing on teams that snipe very much. It just doesn't feel consistent. And I much prefer coordinated pressure and like 3-mans and 4-mans. Okay, you can see again, just basically a full minute completely wasted for really no benefit. There's the counter sack. I'm ignoring that to try and stuff pressure yet again. There is no pressure to come, so yeah. Okay. Now we're coming up with a scout again. Excuse me. And at this point, minute 40 left. Gun going down is quite nice with a kill. Okay, we can cook here. This is kind of prime opportunity to take space through a door. Our soldier goes, our scout goes. We really should have pressured more there, I think. With the gun kill, and you know what? I bet that my team did cook, and I'm just stuck watching top left, which I did some of. Honestly, I like rotating to actually like contribute to the pressure more. I imagine my team pressured shutter side on the right there and tried to take space and double sacked. But I was just kind of watching top left and trying to peek it, see what's going on. Okay, we have a spy here. Minute left. So at this point, you're thinking, how do we avoid a round reset? Because a round reset obviously does not favor us here. We spent all that time winning the mid fight and then winning the second point. So why would we want to reset and have to do all that over again without getting around? So there's a few options in this kind of position. I'd say the most popular, which honestly shouldn't be the most popular anymore, is to Uber exchange, right? You take an exchange, and what you're looking for is you're looking to take out the gun and looking to get the other team to force. And all that's really doing is setting up a post-Uber position where you can maybe take a dry fight, maybe get through a door, and maybe make something happen. Obviously, if you get kills during the exchange, that's fantastic, but it's very unlikely. And honestly, it's very, very easy to play that exchange defensively. So it's pretty low percentage in my opinion. Another option is to do kind of a sack wave, either a 3-man or a 4-man. And the benefit of something like that is by sacking so many players, you are very much overwhelming the defense and giving yourselves a very strong possibility of getting the other team to force. And regardless of whether the other team forces or not, you're still putting the other team in a uncomfortable position. The reason being, if you get the force, then of course they are now disad last. So either they try and set up on last and hope that the round timer is so low that that kind of plays to their benefit, right? Where maybe it like hits overtime and you're forced to go to the point, which is something that the other team's explosives can take advantage of and spam that out and get kills to neutralize the situation. Or they can push out off of the number of kills they got, and what that does is sets your team up most of the time for full Uber advantage into second, which is still a great situation, because let's say you dry push 2, even if you are pretty slow with it, you might just even out on last again, and basically reset the timer, which is lovely. Or you can, if you're really fast into 2, it might still be add into last, and you might have an opportunity to take it into last. You can flip-flop on 2. Basically, you're opening up yourself for so many more options with that format. And even if you don't get the force, and the other team pushes out, then you're still resetting that clock. You're still in all likelihood going to evens on second, which is honestly better than a mid-fight in a lot of situations, unless your mid-fights are really, really good. Okay, I imagine we're exchanging here because we weren't really 4-man pilled like I am nowadays. I don't know why we're not going. I guess we have the spy, so we're trying to like play the spy. Honestly, the spy's a bit slow here. I don't know if I like this choice. My soldier tries to go. Okay, spy gets spotted. Yeah, this is almost certainly going to reset. Honestly, if we like left and let the other team cap, then maybe they'd make the mistake of capping and reset the timer. Looks like they will not be doing that. But this like positioning in lobby, oh man. Looks like we're going to try to take the exchange anyway. 15 seconds left. I don't see this working. I don't remember what happened, because again, this is so long ago. Did I miss the gun? Wow, I am bad. How do you miss the gun with a lock and load? Because I'm pretty sure a sticky pipe just takes out a level 3. Maybe the sticky was like slightly off or something. Maybe it bounced off the gun and didn't do max damage, but I don't know. That could be beef. So, does reset, which pretty expected. I mean, taking an exchange into last with 15 seconds left is almost never going to work, because you just need immediate cap time. Like, you don't even have the opportunity to back up into lobby again and re-heal and kind of reset things for the fight afterwards. Okay, faster than their demo, which is nice. And shooting height. I've been a big fan of that kind of timing spam on height. Okay, soldiers bomb in. Again, ignoring that, focusing the point. I do end up dying, but both soldiers go down. 2 soldiers for a demo usually favors the team that loses the demo, because you just have a number advantage. Obviously, a demo is a little bit more valuable than a soldier, but 2 soldiers is definitely more than enough compensation. So overall, I think that mid went fine. I obviously could apply more damage on point. Like, you always can just do more damage and hit more shots, and that's always going to be nice. But I think the important thing there is that I stopped the cross and prevented their bombs from being able to really have a cross associated with them, or have the team be able to capitalize on those soldiers bombing in. So, still a successful mid, but I would survive if I guess if I did more damage. And honestly, maybe even kite that aggression more. Because I was kind of just walking into them against this scout that's like very clearly trying to walk at me. And I might be able to kite that back. Okay, we are entering lower for this pressure now. You can see me just trying to spam guys off height. Their demo is rotating to the door. My scout's doing a good job of making space. Their demo actually dies to our soldier. That is brutal. Yeah, our med just got a little ambitious on that peak and ended up just dropping to a soldier bomb, which probably shouldn't be happening. They should probably be standing behind us. So now this is like catastrophe. I at least have time to set up some nice traps, so I'm going to be doing that. That last sticky kind of revealed things. Honestly, this trap is quite passive, but I'm a big fan of it because basically no matter what, when a team pushes into second, someone takes the health pack. Almost no matter what. Okay, I don't like holding that debt on that scout. I get that I'm trying to get more value here, and man, I get rewarded. That's messed up, man. I really should just take that scout kill, because times like that, someone else is going to clear that trap and be like, oh shit, you're standing under a trap, dude. And then it gets cleared, and then I get absolutely nothing. But we get severely bailed out there. That being said, probably wasn't going to be around with that disad, because we're at 70%. We were probably going to get Uber on last, but still. Okay, I'm just spamming them out. Honestly, a bomb there wouldn't have been terrible. They're very clearly trying to leave, and I can land on like high ground or something like shed, and yeah, be relatively safe. So we just send it through lower. We don't have to worry about traps because we saw their demo leave Saw so recently, and we know he doesn't have time. And I like this. Very fast through lower. We stall a little bit here, but we do take the Uber. I'm rebombing into the heavy, getting hard denied. Okay, I get no value. And I use all my ammo. This is that kind of timing. So in the stages of a last push, and being able to stage these last pushes is really, really important. The start of this push was honestly dreadful for me, and I have no ammo now, so I don't know what's gonna happen later. Ideally, I get through the door cleanly and are able to I am able to get some damage on that heavy, for instance. However, that was the kind of initial Uber, and then we decided to pick a side. Because we were so slow to actually secure that left spawn, we basically had no choice but to stay left. And in a position like that, it makes a lot of sense to kind of lock out the spawn. The fact that we kited so far back almost makes it seem like we are conceding things. I have basically no ammo. This is the timing in which I would have spawn locked out. I would be standing similar in position to where my scout is, to be honest. And I would just be reloading my stickies. Because if I have all my stickies loaded and my scout is doing what my scout's doing now of pressuring the point, that's going to draw people in from the right side. And then I can just walk forward with my team and blow them all up and win. However, I don't have ammo, so I'm basically relegated to just spamming low percentage pipes, and it's going terribly. And I still don't have stickies, so... Man, can you imagine if my scout didn't steal my ammo lower? I may have had like 4 extra stickies. Is it 4? I think that was 4. Okay, I like this. Again, just getting as good of traps as you can with the time you're allotted. I would have liked to trap Saw earlier, but whatever. Okay, looks like they want to go bats. Here it makes more sense to hold the trap because it's something that can't be spotted. Unfortunately, they use through, so again, it would have been better to just get that initial pick, which, an example like that, another reason why just getting that first kill on the player is nice, because that is guaranteed if you hit the debt, versus waiting for more, you might miss out. Nevertheless, they do pop through and only get a scout, so overall fine for us. I would love if my sniper were like switching off. Okay, perfect. Yeah, they go soldier. What are we gonna do? We're going lower, so we can either fake kitchen and then go lower, or just pop through kitchen. Looks like we're popping through kitchen. Oh man, players are caught. I actually get juggled by their demo, but it doesn't matter at all because I'm Ubered. So demo and a scout. We lose a soldier in the Uber. That's fine. I like to keep going forward here because the only reason to stack cap is twofold. You're either planning to do nothing afterwards, which we are absolutely not. We have these kills. Or you're trying to deny forward spawns, which we don't have to worry about because those kills were so fresh that those players are going to get denied basically anyway, like no matter what, as long as you just put a scout on the cap. So, yeah. If anything, we should have been faster, and I think we could have gotten maybe more value. Okay, relatively passive traps. They pop through again. I'm just trying to trap myself off in case there's some weird chase lower. And basically same situation again. We now have 80 ad. It's going to be a Saw pop through. It looks like we're positioned towards Saw. Okay. And, I mean, flip-flopping's not that bad. Looks like we're going to try to dry push it. And the dry push looks pretty clean. I mean, demo is very, very passive as long as no one dies to a trap. I see the trap on boxes. I'm sure I call that if I spotted it. Okay, damage on the med is going to make it more likely they leave, and they do. So we successfully dry push that and get a kill. Perfect. So the reason that a dry push can be better in this position than a pop through is while using through and playing that flip-flop gives the other team ad, it is more volatile, and you stand to gain more if players are caught. You also stand to lose more if no one's caught, because, again, the other team then has ad into the point. But long term, you're not necessarily expecting to win the point or not with a pop through, versus a dry push. If you are able to successfully push the point without having to use your Uber, then you basically get to keep that point, which we're seeing now. I imagine at this point... Okay, well, with the soldiers, we're going to keep pressuring. And honestly, the pace with which we push things, I think this was add into 2. I don't think it's add into last. Usually rule of thumb is like you take 2 points, and it's you call it evens from there. But look at this point pressure. This is really nice, and I finally hit some stuff, so we get some kills. And this is looking pretty good. I'm just shooting the point. Okay, and that's what shooting the point and having someone play it does. This is where demo like really, really thrives. Because I could be doing all sorts of crazy, like stupid nonsense of like trying to get in and like pressure the point myself. But I can literally just stand in relative safety, sticky length away from the point and do something like that. And if I'm coordinating with my team, then yeah, it's just going to collect kills. Okay, we got the force as well. So this is now add into last, which we've already beefed quite a few last pushes. I'd like to see one go well. Okay, it's like my team entered lobby differently from me, so I jump up to get here. Okay, now are we going... Oh, we're going left. Interesting. A little left, dry push, or milk, I guess. So we do intend to use this Uber. Okay, we see the gun. Honestly, this is as good a time as any to just pop through, or pop and cross, I feel like. Jesus, man. I 100% called for an Uber. I just got dropped. That's so awful. The reason why I like using sooner there is exactly what happened. Not me dying, but them getting. Because in those positions where if you milk an Uber into last, it can be really nice in the sense that you're getting a lot of space. Remember, again, TF2, game about space. It's really nice to get that amount of space without having to commit your Uber. However, you are giving the other team the opportunity to get their own Uber. Ignoring all the threats that can like drop your med, like a sniper or sticky traps or stuff like that. Just the pacing itself. I don't like giving the other team the opportunity to get Uber in those positions. I just don't. And I'd much prefer in that position, you get through cleanly and you can just use a cross and you're already like guaranteed a good Uber. Your demo bomb is not going to get juggled in the door because you're already through the door. You basically get to take it at your own pace, and your flank is probably already in on your side, or at least like players are already in without having to risk anything. It's just a great position, but stalling and doing nothing is like bad. Okay, they were very slow to push here. In fact, so slow that we actually got Uber because we were building. So we're going to play this like a normal fight. Not exactly a mid-fight, because you usually don't have Uber on a mid-fight unless it goes very long. But we get a kill. Okay, and we are now in the continuous overtime. So we need to score 3 rounds to win. The other team needs to score 1. Okay, again, nice pressure there. You can see me and my soldier working together to take out that demo. And they end up using. If we use here, it's really not that bad because our Uber is guaranteed going to be so much better. I hit a fat sticky on that scout who's probably caught here. Is caught. And that's 3 kills with the Uber. They have 1 spawner on last. That's just a feed. Okay, we'll take it. And now I will probably just go shoot point, I imagine. I'm actually shooting the med, which is weird. I feel like we just immediately play point and win here. I don't know why we're doing all sorts of other silliness. Because, yeah, something like that will happen. Like, there's no point in chasing those kills, I feel like. Because those kills will come to you if you play the point. Because they literally have to or they lose. If you are not pressuring the point, then they are free to do whatever they want. They can hide and spawn. They can run around. They can do all sorts of stuff. But if you have presence on the point, then every single player is, especially in that kind of position, where there's only a few players up, every single person's going to be running to the point, and you are going to kill them. Okay, we're finally on the board. All it took was us not having to take an ad push into last, or an Uber ad push, rather. Okay, you can see I tried to get a little aggressive on the left lane, and I ended up killing the demo there with just, like, kind of an aggressive timing across point. Like, there was no soldier bomb to walk with, as far as I'm aware, but again, space. If it's not properly being held, then why not take it for a moment? get a bunch of damage, and then back up by the time that there's any reaction, right? Okay, this as well is like really good pressure. I should be doing more damage here. I'm just like spewing out stickies for no reason. If I were actually charging and aiming stickies, I think I'd do a lot more there. Okay, we have a kill into last. What to do now? Looks like we're going to be pressuring right, and I will be here this time. It obviously worked very well last time. We got the force. And we get another kill. Okay, they have a spawner. I'm shooting the corner of point. It's kind of a dual-purpose trap, I suppose. Because if there's any point pressure, then that's going to kill the player that goes to stop it. But it's also just kind of like a nice area that an enemy might want to stand near, which can get a kill if they're not paying attention. Okay, it turns into an exchange, which honestly is fine. I mean, we had a lot of pressure. We kind of bit off a little more than we could chew, so we had to bail ourselves out with Uber, but it's really fine because things just reset to even Ubers. And 3 minutes left. We have plenty of time to cook. Now, the reason we're not pressuring yet is because we don't have Uber yet. We could if we wanted to, but yeah, some teams prefer to get that Uber before like really doing too much. Although I wouldn't wait too long. Like you can see we entered lobby at like 70%. It's just really unlikely you need that Uber immediately entering lobby. Okay, this pressure is fantastic. It's a lot of damage. We get a demo and a scout. We should absolutely keep pressuring. I probably should have had that trapped earlier. Yeah, I'm really not doing too much here. But importantly, I have some ammo loaded. So when... Oh, I actually did nothing. Okay. My team kind of carried me there. Okay. Even game now. So, we're off to another mid here. I should be using that extra sticky. I'm like a big fan of it. At least in like matches and things like that. Because showing up faster is nice. Okay, get some damage on their demo. I see that scout maybe thinking about going top left, so I just kind of preempt that. See the bombs in. I see the demo go right lane, so that's what I'm spamming. Their soldier bombs do a lot of damage to me, so I end up dying. But things are still going well for us. We have the numbers. That scout, I think, is behind, which means their med has no one to heal. So this is kind of textbook example. Oh, their med actually dies. If their med lived, this still would have been textbook example of a build check scenario if we were fast enough to last. Okay, we see the scout on 2. You saw the scout on 2. Weird. I guess I missed that during the game. And yeah, we're just saying we don't care about you. Because what do we achieve by fighting you? Catch a bow. Just gotta make sure we're not getting run up on. Our soldier dies, which kind of sucks, but I don't even know if they have a gun. Oh yeah, their scout dies on last. They don't have a gun. So we just walk through. Our meta actually takes a lot of damage. Okay, I missed my pipe, but the heavy's caught. And this is a pick, and a pick is lovely. That's so much cap time. Yeah, this is just over. I just shoot the point. I chunk their demo for a lot. You can see me just reloading sticky, shooting the point. I'm not running on it myself. I don't care. I'm just making sure that my team can do it. And yeah, that is a little bit of late game momentum to pull things back. Right. I'm curious how long that ended up being. Oh man, 50 minutes. You guys are getting treated well, I guess. But yeah, for those of you who were kind of looking into some insight as to the sort of play-by-play flow of sixes, then hopefully that was interesting. If people want to see sort of an example of things to look at or analyze as far as your own demo reviews are concerned, then hopefully it was that as well. And if you just wanted something to put on in the background because you like hearing me talk, then hopefully it was that as well. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, see y'all later.